Okay.
All right, I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'm rolling. Wait, yeah, good. False alarm. We're good. Wait,
False alarm that we're good, or
wait. Okay, we're good. Wait,
sure?
wait.
I
We're
don't
good.
know. I don't know what's good anymore. I don't even know.
Whenever I answer the phone, I'm like, hello.
What pissed you off?
It's a great argument to have.
I love my mom, but I think she's half crazy for doing that.
How dare you?
Do you work with your girlfriend, Mark? Or your wife? Mark?
I keep them separated. Sometimes I call people, they don't answer the phone. I'm like, them.
Wrong number, click.
Well, he's not that smart. Sometimes he sounds like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Go.
Therefore, you're an ass, and I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Yeah, but what do we know? Well, hello everybody and welcome.
I'm Mike.
I'm Jeff.
This is What Do We Know?
I figured I'd slip that one right in there on you. You were like not expecting the show to just start. You're like, ready.
I handled it like a true professional.
Good work, sir. Good work.
So
Well-
it's kind of late, but happy Halloween to all you people listening out there. If you're from the States, where is that? Maybe that's celebrated elsewhere. I don't know.
I remember Mark when he was here last year for Halloween. Obviously, he's not with us today. As you can see, he's not here. Unfortunately, he had other things to do, but it's probably because he's celebrating Halloween in Japan.
Could be. Actually, yeah, it is Halloween morning there, right?
Yeah, well, I believe Mark did say last year that they do have Halloween there, that it's
Okay.
like pretty big holiday, but I'm not sure if they celebrate it the same way we do or not.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a whole weird thing. Like I know it's different in other places, but I don't really know the scope of it or how much celebrating really goes on around this holiday.
I mean, witches and goblins and ghouls like existed everywhere. It wasn't just America that those things were running rampant and,
Sure.
stealing the souls of children or putting them in cauldrons of soup.
I
or
kind of
whatever they did.
feel like sort of ugly Americans probably invented the tradition and ritual of going out and getting as much high fructose corn syrup chocolate goods that you can on that holiday, though.
I would also agree that it sounds like a very Americanized thing.
It sure does.
It definitely does. Well,
I could be totally making that up. It's just a guess.
so speaking of that, so this is weird. Have you ever heard of the Switch Witch?
No.
Okay, I had not either, it's funny for a couple reasons. So I was watching a Shark Tank episode the other day, and somebody was out pitching their idea of the Switch Witch.
Okay.
And I was like, what the hell is the Switch Witch? And they were acting like it was just like well known. They were just taking the idea and marketing it essentially. And most of the Shark Tank people were like, I don't have any idea what the Switch Witch is. It sounds like force, that you're trying to like force a new type of thing down everybody's throat. Because essentially what it's supposed to be is after Halloween, the kids give up their parts of their candy to either get like, their idea was they give it up so they can get a gift in return. And they were like marketing this like Switch Witch plushie to show that the Switch Witch was here or whatever. And then I've also heard after that, it's like the concept came because of, parents didn't want their kids having all this candy, so they would like sneak their candy out and trade it for like healthier snacks, and they called it like the Switch Witch. So it's funny that you'd never heard of it. I had never heard of it. The Sharks had never heard of it. Right after watching Shark Tank, I turned on an old DVR episode of The Simpsons from 2011. It was one of the Treehouse of Horrors because they were running the marathon, and the first thing was Marge talking about the Switch Witch.
Huh.
And I was like, wait, I've seen this before. I love The Simpsons. I don't know how I didn't know what that was, but I'm glad to see that you didn't either, and I just wasn't like...
No, and it's probably, now that you've talked about it, it'll probably come up 37 times in some media form or another in the next week, and I'll just be paying attention to it now. I feel like a lot of times stuff like that sort of happens where it exists in pop culture, but you don't really know what it is, so you just kind of blow by it and never
There's
take the time to look it up.
There's a term for that. I don't remember what it is though. Amazingly, I learned about it in nursing school for some odd reason. It's something
You clearly didn't
awareness.
learn much about it.
No, not enough to know what it was, but the concept that it existed. I'm gonna look it up. What is it called when you?
This is going to be quite a long search, I think.
How do you take this in? What is it called?
What is
when
it
you
called when you are
hear something multiple
exposed to
times,
something but don't recognize it?
just after learning
Unaware?
about it? I have no idea. The Bader-Meinhof phenomenon.
Is that it, really?
I have absolutely no idea, but it's what comes up a lot in this.
Well, sounds like it then.
In fact, you probably learned about it the first time very recently. If not, then you just might hear about it again very soon. This sounds just like it. The Bader-Meinhof is the phenomenon where one happens upon some obscure piece of information, often an unfamiliar word or name, and soon after encounters the same subject again, often repeatedly.
So what is that called?
The Bader-Meinhof phenomenon.
Bader-Meinhof phenomenon. Now I'd be curious. I'm definitely going to spend some time reading about this later on, but I'd be very curious.
I don't think you need to spend any time reading about it because you're going to hear about it again tomorrow, just randomly.
Right, right, on
You've heard
TV,
the
yeah.
term.
So I wonder if they're speculating that the phenomenon is that you just randomly hear about it like afterwards, or that it just exists, like I said, just sort of exists out there in the ether all the time and you're only aware of it once you hear it.
No. That's the concept of the Bader-Meinhof is the fact that it always has existed. You just never paid attention to it until for some reason, it got pushed into your brain a little bit more, and then you hear it constantly.
I've kind of always felt like that was a thing anyway. I didn't know that it was the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon.
I mean, I was close. I thought it was something awareness. Bader-Meinhof, something awareness. I mean, it sounds so similar.
How did we get started on Halloween and end up on this?
The Switch Witch.
The Switch Witch.
Which you'll hear about again as well. You'll probably hear about the Switch Witch taking stuff from Bader-Meinhof.
Right, and trading it with carrots.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
All right, good times. Well, speaking of junk food, why don't we go from there? Because I was looking it up, and actually, listeners, correct me if I'm wrong about this. I went back on our YouTube channel because I feel like we've talked about candy bars on here before.
I don't recall talking about candy bars.
Maybe not. Maybe we didn't. But we definitely didn't do it at Halloween last year, for sure. Because I looked at those episodes, and they were... One was the Ebola episode. That was the one right after Halloween. I'm fairly certain, as good at making smooth transitions as we are, we could have never made that jump from Ebola to Snickers, So
I can see us doing that.
So I put together a little top 5. And stop me if something's out of place here. I do have one curveball in here, I think.
So are you talking top 5... because you told me you'd sent me text, but I didn't really pay attention to them until right before we started recording.
Par for the course
of your concept, yes. So I didn't do any, quote unquote research on this, but you specifically mentioned candy bars in your text. Are these top 5 candy bars or candy?
I actually, that was one of the first things I was going to bring up because there's a game changer out there that immediately springs to mind when I think Halloween. That being a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Oh, no, that's the very first thing when I read your text as a candy bar. That instantly in my mind I went, "Are Reese's peanut butter cups candy bars?"
Because if that's a candy bar, that makes my top 5 for sure.
So, but I mean, that just gets us back to the whole thing as a hot dog a sandwich.
Because it is peanut buttery goodness surrounded on all sides by chocolate, which kind of says candy bar to me.
I mean, they do have the Reese's bars now.
Correct. But aren't those different, though? They have, like, peanuts and stuff in them, right?
They are slightly... I'm going to look up while we're doing this what the Reese's...
Pretty sure they do. 'Cause I know I've eaten one before, and I'm pretty sure they're kind of different. They're good, but they're different.
I'm curious, too. Let's just debate this for a minute about Reese's Cups. Then I want to look, because I guarantee there's, like, multiple forums out there.
I don't think it's technically a candy bar, because, number one, it's not a bar at all. It's a cup.
Yes, as the name would imply.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I think, by definition, a candy bar would have to be in bar form.
Well, what's your constitution of a bar form?
Rectangular.
It
perhaps.
has to be rectangular. It couldn't even be square. And I'm not
I
saying
don't
that I
think
know
so.
any candies off the top of my head that are square,
No,
but
no, a
like,
square would be a candy square.
well, like a 100 grand bar is the same size as a normal candy bar, but there's two of them in there. Granted, they're still rectangular, but they're two
Rectangular.
littler ones. It's basically two of the snack size
Right.
put into
Well,
a
like
wrapper,
Almond Joy and Mounds are kind of the same way.
and those are horrible.
Oh, no, Almond Joy is good. In fact, I thought about Almond Joy cracking my top 5, but I couldn't quite do it.
And why not?
Couldn't I found 5 that I like better, that's all.
I see.
That's
See,
all.
they wouldn't go in my top 5 because they're horrible. Dude,
Dude,
they're full of coconut. Who wants the coconut shoved into their delicious chocolate and
well, if you don't like
nuts and-
coconut, obviously not you, but I
well,
enjoy
damn straight.
coconut.
I mean, might as well put a piece of shit in that bar. Like, it's going to be the exact same outcome.
By the way, speaking of horrible candy, my wife loves candy corn.
I don't mind candy corn.
If I never saw candy corn again in my life, I'd be fine.
See, that's actually where I thought you were going to go with this when you originally said there's a game changer out there because it's Halloween. Because Halloween, the instant candy that comes to mind, not because it's my favorite, but it's just so associated with Halloween, is candy corn.
No, I don't like candy corn at all. I just think it's like I don't know, it kind of tastes like a weird, like almost bad flavored jelly bean of some, like deformed jelly bean. I don't even know what it is, what it's supposed to taste like. I don't even get it. I just don't get it. I don't get the
Deformed
candy
jelly
corn.
bean. It's kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, it is. I guess I could give you that, a deformed jelly bean with a little bit more
I'm not
of
a big jelly
chewy
bean
texture.
fan either. So
I like certain jelly beans, not all jelly beans, but
I
certain ones.
take them or leave them. Take them or leave
So
'em.
so if Reese's is a candy bar, it's your number one.
I don't know that it's my number one, but it's in my top 5.
Oh, I would have to put, if Reese's is considered a candy bar, that it would be my number one. I don't know. I don't quite know why, because it's very simplistic.
I was just going to say, it's a little too plain for me.
Because it's the Snickers. The Snickers peanut butter bars, I think, are way better. Way better in the aspect is it's like peanuts and caramel and
So much happening there.
well, and peanut butter in those special Snickers peanut butter bars. But I love me a Reese's peanut butter cup. I don't know what it is. I love them. They're so good.
I do too. Well, actually, now that we're talking about just Reese's, and so this is sort of like, I kind of relate this to like Coke. When you drink Coca-Cola or Pepsi or whatever, like it doesn't taste the same out of a plastic bottle. If you've ever drank Coke or Pepsi out of a cold glass bottle out of the fridge, like it's so much better. So Reese's has a little bit of that going too. I don't know why it makes sense, but depending on the shape of the Reese's, because they make different shapes for holidays, the Reese's eggs that they make for Easter are my favorite, going away. And actually, that could maybe be considered a candy bar.
Well, it's not a rectangle. It is an oval.
It's right. Yeah, it's rough.
But I guess a lot of
Rectangle.
you're right. It's more what do they call the rectangulars? The rectangles that have rounded edges. Off the top of my head, I can't remember whether, because that's essentially what a candy bar is, which isn't technically a rectangle.
Right.
So I would posit a reason for what you just said about the egg ones, though.
Okay.
More peanut butter to chocolate ratio.
Right. It could be you don't have the thicker chocolate edges on them.
Well, even though it actually might be a thicker chocolate edge, but
Oh,
I
I
think
don't
there's
think
still
so.
more peanut butter shoved in the middle of it.
Well, and that could have something to do with it too. And maybe it just tastes like the chocolate's thinner because the ratio of peanut butter to chocolate is higher. But I feel like the chocolate like shell around one of those eggs is thinner because you don't have like the wavy edge around it or whatever.
You know what is something that I've never tried that now I want to really bad? Like I wish I could do it right now.
What's that?
I was just thinking how delicious, like, I mean, just regular chocolate. I do like take just a Hershey bar, take a square of chocolate, eat it. Still, it's delicious. Throw that chocolate right onto a graham cracker, melted by the fire. Put a little marshmallow on there. How good is that? We all know we all love s'mores.
Mm-hmm.
What if we added some peanut butter to that?
I've actually done that before. Use instead of just chocolate pieces, like instead of using the Hershey's chocolate pieces, use a Reese's peanut butter cup.
No, I've never even thought. I didn't even when my mind went there. I was literally thinking of smearing the graham cracker with peanut butter from the jar.
No.
I wasn't even
Use a
thinking
peanut
throw a
butter
Reese's
cup.
cup on there. How is it?
It's as amazing as you think it is.
Oh.
It is really, really good.
Because an old roommate of mine got me turned on to fluff. Have you ever had fluff?
I don't think so.
It's basically marshmallow whip in a jar. Like it looks like a mayonnaise jar, but it's
Okay.
marshmallow whip.
Yeah.
And she loved peanut butter and fluff sandwiches. And I remember once I was leaving the house and I was driving really far, but I hadn't eaten yet. And I was like, I need to make something to eat in a car on the way there because I'm starving. And all I saw in the cupboard was peanut butter. And I glanced and I saw the fluff. And I was like, man, Lindsay always talks about how good this peanut butter and fluff is. So I made a sandwich real quick with that stuff, and I went in the car, and I will tell you, I don't know if you've ever had one of these moments in your life, where there's as he says in the movie Fallen, there's the before this time and the after this time. Like, that's how we will always refer to this now. It was one of those ones where I went, and I had this thing in my hand, and I was driving on the road, and I was just like... and my eyes, like, they just got wide, and my mind went to, like, a different place. I was just like... like the light started shining through my car, and I don't even have a sunroof, and like God spoke to me, and he doesn't even exist. I mean, that's how amazing it was.
So, ironically, and maybe if you really are if you're wearing headphones and you listen to that audio back, maybe you can pick it up. This being the Halloween episode. Both my kids are sleeping. They were sleeping before I came down here. Well, Jake might have still been moving around, but I have not heard him upstairs. I know this is not him. So I have a 2-story home, and I'm actually in the finished basement part of it. So the children are 2 stories away from me. If one of them came downstairs, I would hear them. Well, as you were telling that story, something at the top of these stairs behind me fell and made a really loud noise.
It was the ghosts trying to get to your fluff.
It might be.
Peanut butter and fluff sandwich. Or maybe they're going for your Reese's peanut butter cups and going to make their own s'more.
It was loud enough that it made me jump a little bit. If you rewind this, you could probably see me kind of jump because I suspect I probably know what it was, but I have no idea why it fell just now.
The mysteries of Halloween, sir.
Mm-hmm. All right, let me run through my list real quick here.
Are you going to start with your top 5 or your number 1 or your number 5 and count it down?
I'll start with 5.
Okay, count it
Start
down.
with 5 and I'll count it down. And actually, I already see something on here. I might switch. I'm going to switch on the fly. All right, number 5. I'm going to go with Kit Kat.
Okay.
Those
Okay.
are good.
What's the reasoning you like a Kit Kat?
So you have the crunchy wafer things covered in chocolate. Again, they kind of border on the, like you talked about with Reese's being sort of simplistic. There's not a whole lot going on. But I don't know. I just really like those. I like the wafer things, I guess.
Do you like the fact that they carve Kit Kat into the name of each one?
I don't really care about
And
that.
therefore steal bits of chocolate you could otherwise have?
I kind of like I get to break them, I guess.
That is cool. You get
Kinda
to break
nice.
them.
Kind of a nice feature for a candy bar.
I'm a fan of Kit Kats. I'd have to think about candy bars for a minute to think if they'd make my list of top 5, though. I'm not sure I'd put them in the top 5, but I don't dislike them. But they're good.
All right, well, that's what I'm going with. I'm going with that for 5. Number 4, I'm going to go, and actually, I have seen some people post about this, and I don't have these guys as high as a lot of people, but I'm going to go with Twix at number 4. A lot of people really love Twix bars.
I put Twix kind of in the same category as a Kit Kat. I think
Yeah.
they're quite similar to similar candy bars.
But I think Twix has that layer of caramel or whatever it
They
is.
do have the layer of caramel. I mean, it depends on too if it's how it's put on there, if it's in the right Twix factory or the left Twix factory. But I do like their advertising. I think their advertising is somewhat comical. It's stupid enough. It's stupid, but enough to be to a comical extent. Like,
Yeah. Well,
but candy bar itself,
I'm
I
strictly
put it right. It's right there with Kit Kat.
strictly going with candy bar value. All right, number 3. I'm gonna go with Milky Way.
I don't remember what's in a Milky Way.
It's sort of like a Three Musketeer, except they throw like caramel in there.
Is it then? That's all it is Three Musketeer with caramel. Because I was gonna say that I used to be a huge fan of the Three Musketeer. I don't know why, but Three Musketeer for a long time when I was a child was my favorite candy bar. And if I think about it, I should really like something that also has chocolate or that caramel in it. But for some reason, I remember not like I pushed the Milky Ways to the side. Be like, Milky Way, get out of here! I need to get to my Musketeers now.
Well, I do remember as a kid with the Three Musketeers, you could eat the chocolate from around it, and then you had that ball or like the nougat or whatever it's called in the middle, nougat stuff. You could like form it into a ball. Like it was almost like a weird sugary Play-Doh.
I wasn't gonna say that at all, but that's what I used to do with the Three Musketeers.
Oh, absolutely.
Eat the chocolate out the outside, like make little like stick figure things that eat the head and like eat the arms.
Oh yeah, you had to roll it around in all forms of dirt that was on all your surfaces, and then you ate it. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the only way. I want to see a grown adult doing that. Like, I'm gonna have a meeting in my office and just like in the middle of it, pull out like a little Three Musketeers, start eating around the chocolate, and start like balling it up as I'm talking. Like, so guys, the next quarter profit margins. You know?
I'm really tempted to go up and get one right now and start eating it. All right, so that's my number 3. So
did Milky Way or did Musketeers make your list then? If Milky Way's there,
no, it did not.
okay. So
It did not.
you have the Milky Way above the Musketeer, obviously.
Yeah, I think so because it has that extra element to it. I would say probably the Three Musketeers was fighting with Kit Kat for that number 5 spot, and Kit Kat just barely beat it out.
Okay.
I think. So number 2, I think, is going to be a surprise. Have you ever
Okay.
had a whatchamacallit bar?
Oh, okay. Whatchamacallit. I was looking at a picture of one a minute ago because I was trying to get a picture of the Milky Way so I could remember what it was, but I don't see it anymore. So whatchamacallit bars, are they the ones that are all like nuts? It's like
No.
there's no coating on the outside.
No, those are not Payday. What are Babe Ruth bars? Is that what
Oh, baby Ruth.
the whatchamacallits have like Rice Krispies in it,
Okay.
and I don't remember what all is in it.
Like a Hershey's Crunchy bar?
Sort of, but there's more stuff in it. Let me look it up real quick to tell you because I don't want to make stuff up.
Whatchamacallit.
Candy bars. Here we go.
Yeah, so it's... Oh, yeah, I remember these now. Yeah, these are not on the top of my list. Like,
I love these things. I don't know why. Like I have
uh,
sort of I wish I could find the ingredients to this thing real quick in case somebody doesn't know what they are.
I see ingredient changes.
Yeah, I see that. You must be on Wikipedia.
Yes, I am. Wikipedia is like my source of truth, and damn you all for telling me I can't use it in research papers. It is way more accurate than.
Right. Okay. So peanut flavored crisp, which are like the Rice Krispie things, that uses peanut butter as the flavoring agent with a layer of caramel and chocolate coating.
They use peanut butter as a flavoring agent. you
Yeah.
say.
So it's peanut butter, Rice Krispies, and caramel and chocolate. That's basically what it is.
I mean, the ingredients in there sound delicious,
Oh, they are.
but
Sure.
I don't know. Maybe it's been too long since I haven't. So I see down the page on the Wikipedia that thingamajig.
Yeah, I see that too. I don't know what that is.
Was that supposed to be the same thing?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what that creation is. Since I was a kid, I remember eating whatchamacallits.
It's a limited edition version featuring chocolate Cocoa Krispies and peanut butter inside.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe they just called it something different.
Interesting.
So my first memory, I have memories of whatchamacallits going back to, and this is kind of funny, roller skating, going to the roller rink.
Roll Haven?
Yeah, Roll Haven. They
good
used to
God.
sell those there. And I don't remember how I got turned on to them in the first place, but every time I went there, that was what I looked forward to, was buying a whatchamacallit bar.
Whatchamacallit? I would never have expected that on your list.
Oh, I love those. Absolutely love them. Maybe I'm crazy, but I like those a lot. And then number one is pretty obvious, I think. I'm going with Snickers.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know what Snickers did. I think you'd be hard pressed. Granted, you're going to get comments and stuff on this video, of course, because you put it out to a big crowd of people who watch and have a different opinion than we do. I think your average person, if you walked around like your shop or my office or whatever, if you asked them what their favorite candy bar was, if you didn't get the typical DC answer of "I don't eat candy," you'd get Snickers. Would be the person's answer, because I don't know what they just did something perfectly right. It's like a mix between the Three Musketeers, the Milky Way, which Milky Way is really a Three Musketeers with caramel, and then you add the nuts on top of it. Like, it's just, they hit every point. And I'm more surprised that, Hershey's bringing out the Thingamajig as the second whatchamacallit. Why don't they, why doesn't Milky Way or Mars or whatever that, company is now, why don't they come out with the Snickers 2 or something like that?
Snickers 2.
I mean, the peanut butter Snickers is delicious, but it's a different flavor profile.
Yeah, when you said that, I definitely want to try one of those now.
Yeah, they're really good. I remember I used to be part of a research panel where I would have to do these surveys. You get paid for doing these surveys, and some of them took a long time, some of them didn't. But occasionally they sent you product reviews. And it was funny because sometimes they wanted the product back, sometimes they didn't. Like, it was all set up front. But one of the things that obviously they didn't want back is they sent me a box of Snickers, peanut butter Snickers, before they went on the market. And I was part of the research, the market research that they did for that. And they're absolutely amazing. But they're Reese's Pieces in bar form is exactly what they are. With some, I don't remember if they had nuts on them. They have something else. I'm going to look this up now, too. They have something else on top of them, but I can't remember because it wasn't just peanut butter and chocolate. Snickers, peanut butter.
And I also did want to give an honorable mention to the Hershey's Cookies and Cream bars.
An honorable mention. Oh, my God. I haven't heard about that candy bar in forever.
I used to like those quite a bit, too. I don't even know if they're still around, to be honest with you, but they were good.
Yeah, they were good. I do remember. I haven't seen those in so long.
I haven't either. So if you have never seen one of those or don't know what those are, the candy bar, it was kind of like just a regular Hershey's bar, except it was made with white chocolate.
Yeah, I was going to say it was all white. And,
and it
with
had
brown specks in it.
Right. So sort of like generic Oreos or something broke up into it. It was good. It's good candy bar.
Now, I think you have a good list. I would not have. I can't think of any other candy bars off the top of my head besides the Three Musketeers that didn't make your list, and the peanut butter Snickers, but that I would put even in the top category. But we talked about some of the ones. The one caveat I would have is I think this list would change order, and amazingly, I think number one would be dethroned if you involve putting them in the freezer.
Yeah. Well, you probably couldn't eat a Snickers out of the freezer.
And honestly, that is the inherent problem with it. But have you ever put a Milky Way in the freezer?
I don't think so.
That is the one thing that I would give up my Three Musketeers when I was a kid for, was to get that Milky Way, because we used to put some of them in the freezer. It is amazing. I mean, ice cream bars are good, but ice cream bars have limited, you can't take much time to eat them or they melt and make a huge mess and everything, but they're delicious. But it's different. Again, it's different flavor. It's ice cream. Yeah. You put a Milky Way in the freezer, man, it will outdo a Snickers anytime. It'll outdo a room temperature Snickers every time.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll outdo the cold Snickers, which probably is amazing, but it's because it's too damn hard to bite through it.
Right, yeah,
I don't know if it's the peanuts that get too hard that it hurts your teeth, or if it's, or what, but yeah, if you make it Cold? Oh my God, you got to try that. Milky Way.
You know what? It actually, that just reminded me of, they made Milky Way ice cream bars too.
They did, and they're amazingly delicious.
They were good. I've had those before. A long time ago, but I've had those before.
So, if a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup was a candy bar, would it dethrone anything on this list?
Oh yeah, it would for sure be in my top 5. How high would it go would be the question. And like you said, like Reese's is such a weird thing because maybe it's like the ultra sugary peanut butter, or I don't know what it is, but it's kind of like a plain, just simple thing, but it's really, really good. I think it would probably be 2 or 3 on my list.
You'd still contemplate putting the whatchamacallit above it?
Yeah, I would. I love those things.
Oh man, is it because of those memories of
Maybe.
of the roller skating?
It could be, but they're in a vending machine at my work, and I still every once in a while get one and think they're really good. So
it's so funny that you have this memory of Rollhaven and stepping off of the candy bar for a minute. I also have a memory of Rollhaven, like specifically. Mine, however, was not when I was as young as you probably were when you went there. Great, it was something that big. All the schools had their Rollhaven days, and everybody went to the roller rink, and like it was more your middle school type of thing to do.
mm-hmm.
Well, when I was dating Vanessa, we had been dating for a few years, and one day we didn't have anything to do, and she said, I haven't been roller skating in a long time. Let's go to Rollhaven and just roller skate for a little bit. We got nothing else to do. We haven't been there in years. We don't even know how much ago. Granted, I can't say that. They had laser tag there still, so we did occasionally go to play laser tag. I don't know if you went multiple times. I think it was always groups with you, and we'd go play laser tag up there.
I was going to say, I actually just remembered another funny story from Rollhaven.
So we go there though, not to play to play laser tag, to actually go skating around, and we're there skating. And we're there for not 10 minutes, and we just look at each other, and we're like, we can't deal with this place. It's run by, like, 12-year-olds that are, all these 12-year-old girls are wearing, like, basically nothing, little teeny bikini tops, but they're 12, so it's gross, it's just like, this is completely wrong. I guarantee it's one of those things where your parents dropped you off in one outfit, and you instantly went to the bathroom and changed when you got here, because they would not let you out of the house caught dead in that. All these little like 12-year-old guys are like running around trying to hit on these 12-year-old girls and trying to hit on my girlfriend at the time because I don't know. They had absolutely not only just zero respect, but also balls of steel like to do that. I got to give them a little bit of props. That's cool. So we were like, we can't take this anymore. Like, this is crazy. Like, I don't know if it was like this when we were that age and we just didn't realize it was like that, or if it's just turned into that. So we go sit down to start taking our skates off to leave, and I shit you not, somebody's like, hey Jeff, what's going on? And I like look up, Jerry and Daryl were there. And they were, I know I'm name dropping a lot, I really don't care. They were cruising around. Apparently they went there at least twice a week, like on the regular. They knew everybody that worked there. They hung out with all these people. All these kids knew who they were. And I was like, oh dear God, I have got to get out of this place.
So I remembered when you were telling this story and you brought up laser tag. I believe you were with me on this.
We got kicked out of there a couple times.
Yes. Well, that was one of the times that I recall. You and me, I think Mark too, actually.
Yeah, the time I'm thinking of specifically that we really got kicked out of there pretty hardcore. Like Mark was there, you were there.
Was it JP?
Paul was there. I think JP was there.
So we went in
Matt
there
was
to
there.
play laser tag. And so their laser tag area or room or whatever it is just a giant square room. It's cut in half diagonal by a half wall. And so when you go into this room, you go...
Well, it's not even a half wall. It's big rectangular sheets. They're suspended from the ceiling. They weren't attached to the ground. It was because people ran into them a lot, and they didn't want it to be something that would break off. It was supposed to be like...
Is that what it was? I thought it was a
Yeah.
half wall.
I mean, it essentially it made a half wall, but they were actually suspended from the ceiling on
Oh, gotcha.
strings.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I just remember it was like a short little wall because they let you into this room and each team goes to an opposite corner, and then you're supposed to spread out behind these things and shoot at each other. And someone, I feel like it was me, but I don't want to take credit if it wasn't, figured out that if you just climb this fence, everybody thinks that you're on their team because you're on their side. So you just run around in their area picking people up, and they don't even know where it's coming from because they can't even see anybody. You're just behind them. And then, yeah, I think Mark, or maybe it was you, somebody else caught on that I was doing that, so they started doing it, and it turned into this big thing.
Well, I remember, I didn't know, I remember this vividly, like, I don't know why, because I didn't know it was happening at the time, and I think you were on my team, and there was a lot of, like, we just kept winning, and, like, I was like, okay, whatever, we're just, like, better than they are, and I remember at one point hearing somebody yell, hey, you can't do that, and I looked over, and it was like you and Jerry were tackling each other, like a fun tackle, like, just, but not like he was angry, you guys were, like, literally trying to tackle each other and, like, point blank shoot the sensor, like, in your headsets or whatever, and you tackled each other into one of these walls, which I don't know, remember if it ripped down or something happened to it, and that's when all of a sudden all the lights came on in the place, and they came in and escorted us off the property.
Well, you know, that kind of stuff happens during a serious game of laser tag.
It was that stuff serious, man. Like, what else you got? Just immerse in the moment. I wonder. So I played some laser tag out here. Sometime when I was in nursing school, one of the girls for their birthday really used to love laser tag and wanted to go get this laser tag thing. And laser tag is definitely way different out here than it was at Roll Haven. Roll Haven was a box, like you said. This place would have massive rooms set up with like and it was a free for all though, it wasn't separated, and it was meant to be a free for all. But there were huge smoke machines everywhere. You could like hide under stairs. Like it was a really cool setup. Granted, again, run by a bunch of 12-year-old kids and hooked onto a roller skating rink. But I mean,
well, I think laser tag just sort of evolved from when we were kids. Because I mean, that was, how old were we when that happened? That was 20 years ago, anyhow.
right.
So I'm pretty sure places like that exist in Michigan now too. I guess I can't really name one off the top of my head, but I think I've heard about them.
I wonder how much they cost.
And sort of like paintball is sort of the same way now. They have crazy paintball facilities now too. I mean, it's just sort of a variation on laser tag, really.
See, I will say I enjoy paintball, except for one, it hurts. But if you can deal with the pain, it's the price is way too much for what it is. Because even if you pay the money to go out there and play, rent the range and all, you're looking at like dropping $50 to rent a gun and get started.
Mm-hmm.
That's getting started with your little box of 100 balls of ammunition that they give you or whatever. That's out in like 10 minutes, and then you have to go buy more.
Yeah, it's an expensive hobby to take up, which is probably why I never really got into it. But
yeah, I used to know people when I was in high school. Some of my friends were like huge into getting there. Look at the new paintball gun I bought. And it's like, yeah, you spent $600 on that gun. For one, you're in high school, and that's a lot of money. For two, you got to spend double that in bullets in the next week at the tournament that you're going to go to. Like,
right. And it's like anything else too. To get really good at it, like I think you have to put a lot of time in, which equals a lot of those bullets, which cost a lot of money. So.
Yeah, I would love to find a sport like that just didn't cost as much. That's why I always wanted to get into Frolf.
To get into what?
Frolf, the frisbee golf, because there's all these frisbee golfing areas around, or disc golf, or whatever it is.
I was going to say disc golf. I had never heard that before. Is that what it's called?
Frolf? I've heard it called Frolf. I have no idea what's actually accurate because I've never played. But it reminds me of, remember when you sent me that link to those the tournament where the guys Dude Perfect tournament. Yeah, it's frisbee was one of those items, and granted that wasn't a regulation like frisbee golf disc or whatever, because they're a certain weight and everything. But essentially, it's one of the things that they did because it's fun to do. Like instead of hitting a golf ball, let's throw a frisbee.
Well, actually, with disc golf, they have different size frisbees for how far away your shot is. So, like they have, like in golf, you have different size clubs.
Mm-hmm.
They have different size frisbees depending on how far you're throwing. Like you have a set of discs, and I don't really know all that much about it because I've only been disc golfing one time in my life, and that was with my brother-in-law and my nephews. And we just played at like a free county course or whatever it was, and it was a good time or whatever. But I'm not crazy about the sport. Now I could see people getting into it, and like I said, I know people on Facebook who I went to high school with and stuff who are super into it, which is why I know there's so much to it. But yeah, it's like a whole thing I feel like I know almost nothing about.
But one of the problems with a sport like that, though, is it needs land. You need a lot of land. It's just like golf. You need to have different holes and different setups and things like that. And that's
there's a lot of courses now. I mean, if you really wanted to play, you can find courses all over the place.
Oh yeah, there's courses around here as well. Granted, not in DC itself, but I'd have to go outside of DC because there's not the. I mean, you could probably just go play. People play frisbee all the time on the mall, or right in front of the Washington Monument and all. So I could do that, but there's not a course set up there.
Right. But I know, like, even in the there's a metro park right by my house that has a course. And the one course that I said that I played was like at a county park, like the next city over. So, I mean, there's courses all over the place, at least here in Michigan.
Do they have disc golf driving ranges? Just stand there and drink beer and throw a frisbee like over and over and over again?
Not that I know of.
Somebody comes by in a little cart that picks up your frisbees for you.
I feel like that's called your backyard.
That probably would be called your backyard.
But I don't know. All right, I think we successfully covered candy bars.
Yes.
Post.
And more.
Yeah, we got off track as usual, but so happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Post Halloween. By the way, I meant to have this on earlier and I forgot.
Mike, what happened to you?
Halloween show, people. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Whenever I answer the phone, I'm like, hello.
What pissed you off?
It's a great argument to have.
I love my mom, but I think she's half crazy for doing that.
How dare you?
Do you work with your girlfriend, Mark? Or your wife, Mark?
I keep them separated. Sometimes I call people, they don't answer the phone, I'm like,
Wrong number, click.
Well, he's not that smart. But sometimes he sounds like he knows what he's doing.
yeah,
Go.
But therefore, you're an ass, and I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Yeah, but what do we know?